Am I here with you? Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness, this is my first live. So it was spur of the moment because I found out that they weren't going to do the Monday night live, with Aaron and Mark and Mike tonight because of different things on their schedule. So they are doing it tomorrow. So I figured there's people who want their Monday fix, so I might as well go on. And we can do. I can talk about a few things, and I can answer your questions. So one of the first things I wanted to do was show you a little intro trailer that I did. And so I'm going to play it. I hope the audio comes up on it, but this is me in StreamYard figuring this out. So let's see if this works. Tom Cruise is saying that David Miscavige, who I personally have seen beat people left, right, and center, is saying that he's the leader of leaders and he should know because he's met them all, which is just hot air. And then David Miscavige saying Tom Cruise, the notorious of the Whoozy Medal of Valor, is the most dedicated Scientologist he knows. Salute, hug, kiss, Come on, you guys, go get a room and let's get on with it. This is crazy. You could hear it. Could you hear that at all? Tell me. I can't see in the it works? Did that work? I wonder why I can't hear it on my end, but oh, you know what? I probably need my stupid earphones in. Oh my gosh. Okay, so did you hear that? I might play it again just so I can hear too. 1 second. Let me see if I can get this thing going. Oh, all the details that you need to know. Anyway, finally my husband is home. He was gone for 3 weeks on a project and he's now home. And so today, the first thing that we did was package up and send out all of the book orders that we had gotten. And so I want to thank everybody who had ordered my book. And I want to thank you very much for your orders. And we got those out. So hopefully you'll get them really fast. And for anyone else, this is my completed product, completed paperback book in our hands now, and it's signed by myself and Matt. And if you want something written in there, just let me know and I will write that in there for you, and a little note. And I updated it a little bit, like it's got a current picture on the back. And it says, Amy Scobee continues to expose Scientology as a destructive cult despite the relentless attempts to shut her into silence. Follow her on YouTube at Who is Amy Scobee, or Twitter, Amy L. Scobee. So that's all updated. And so I just want you to know that's available, and you can order it directly from me at my Scobee Publishing at gmail.com through PayPal, and I'll get them out to you right away. So that's one thing that's really good news. And let's see, in my husband's home, that's super good news. I'm going to be having him on with me. He's a total crack up. So this is going to be entertaining. I can tell you that right now, because he makes me laugh every single day. He comes up with the funniest examples and samples of things just off the top of his head, and it's hilarious. So it'll be really fun. And because I want to tell you stories like our escape story, because one person had asked in the chat, and we'll get to the different questions, and I'm not even starring, but I will get to it. But I saw before I started live was if we got married there or what. And but our story is, no, we didn't. We first met each other in 1983 at the international base, and he was running the renovations and construction, and I was, of course, on the rehabilitation project force. Where else would I be? I was on that thing so much. Anyway, and so he was training me how to do stucco and different things like that. We did a project together to do flooring and lighting and all this in the Ron's audio visual studio. And so we knew each other then. And of course, in the Sea Org, everybody pretty well. And so, but then when in 2000 and 4, we were both on the rehabilitation project force, again, this time in Clearwater, and, um, and so we were twinned up because you get a twin on the RPF, and, because we were the same case level, which is, OT7, you get twinned with comparable case levels because you have to audit each other on the rehabilitation project force. So, we were twinned up, and boy, it didn't take long for us to say, "You're the one." "You're the one for me," and, we were both single. We were both, in our, 40s, early 40s, and we decided that we wanted to get out, and, Matt had the courage to do that, and I want him to tell the story because there's a lot of detail to it, and it will be a good episode on our escape. So we'll leave it at that for right now. I made a gigantic list of all sorts of different things to cover on lives, my own videos, but also ones with Mike, because he'll have really good input as well on certain subjects. But there's a lot. There's so much to cover. I mean, I'm actually pretty surprised. I keep thinking of more and more and more, and, like, it's crazy, and then you guys are also giving us ideas too because you have questions that are great, that I wouldn't necessarily think about, and so because you have those questions, then we, jogs our memories, and then we, make a note of it. Just another thing that we need to do a video on. So, I would love to get your feedback on that, and realize that I'll have my husband here too. He was in the Sea organization for 27 years, so, he's got lots of experience too, and he was all over the place. He ran the, construction and renovations at the Flagland base. He was the captain of what's called Flag Crew, um, which is overall the, hotels and restaurants and, that kind of thing, and construction and renovations for the whole property and all the buildings, and it's mammoth down in Clearwater, as everybody knows. Um, but anyway, and he was in treasury, he was in finance, he was over the registration lines. He's got lots of stories. So we'll leave that until he can come. Where he is right now, okay, it's Monday night poker night. That's where he is. And this is my dog. Where is he? He's behind me and he's chewing a bone as loud as possible. So hopefully you guys can put up with that. At least he's not barking his brains out, which he does often. So let's see. So first of all, I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to start taking questions because this is going to be for you, and anything that you would like to ask me. That's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to just see if I'm going to just go head to the top and then just go down from there. So this one says, do I just click on it or what? Yes. Okay, so it says, this is from YouTuber. It says, "Hi, Amy, you're my first YouTube comment. Love and support all of SPTV. Anyway, I should probably know this, but what did you have to do in the" that's probably RPF, in the RPF. Also, did you ever go to the hole? Okay, so, what did I do in the RPF? What didn't I do? The rehabilitation project force, um in my book, I detail out all 4 times that I was assigned to the rehabilitation project force, with all the details of what it is that I had to do. Um, one of the things that the RPF, there's a whole series of what's called flag orders. It's like the policy for the Sea organization. They're called flag orders. So there's a whole bunch of flag orders for the rehabilitation project force, and all your penalties and all of your requirements and rocks and shoals is the punishments for like non-compliance or being late or not doing a good product or whatever. And you're constantly getting rocks and shoals. And like for example, the when I was 16 years old, I was assigned to the rehabilitation project force in Florida, and I had this boss. She was on RPF or 2, and But she thought she was, awesome or something, I don't know. Because she was in charge of me and one other person, so she thought she was amazing. And, so we were cleaning up the around the Fort Harrison, all the leaves around the Fort Harrison into these big, like, 55-gallon on wheels, garbage cans, and putting the leaves in that. And so there was three of us in this section. It's all broken down by sections, and there's an in charge, an MAA, which is the master at arms, and who's responsible for the ethics of the section and the schedule of the section, and there's only 3 of us, and then I'm the member. So so I had 2 bosses. And so the MAA, or the master at arms, told me, because the leaves were up to the top on this garbage bin, to get into the garbage can and stamp them down. Okay, I couldn't get into the garbage can, it's, like, way up here, how am I supposed to do that? So I just laughed because I thought she was kidding, and she kinda was, kidding, like, "Yeah, we can stamp them down, we can push it down with our hands, we don't need to get into the garbage can." Anyway, the in charge just went off on me that if the MAA orders me to do something, I'm to do it with a "Yes, sir," and, take a lap and run around the building or whatever, y get a punishment, like do push-ups or sit-ups or whatever it was that, and she was screaming at me, and I said, "No, I'm not doing it." So she started chasing me, so here I am running around the Fort Harrison building. That's a huge, it's like a city block. I'm running at 16 years old in my black boiler suit, trying to get away from this lady, and she's chasing after me, screaming at me, trying to get me to stop. I wish it was videoed. And, and then I ran into the garage where the Rehabilitation Project Force, or RPF, offices were, and, I ran in there because I was trying to get somebody to get the lady off of me, and, and she hit me across the face. She slapped me across the face when I went in there, and I was gonna go see the boss of the Rehabilitation Project Force, and I was waiting for him, and she comes flying in there and then slaps me across the face. And, I did not hit her back because I was gonna prove that she was the insane one. And, so the person who came in to hear my grievance said I should have followed orders. So there you go. I had my big first and huge injustice at 16 years old. Well, being in the RPF at 16 years old was its own injustice. What happened with that is I had sex with my first husband before we got married, and I was in a confessional. I think I talked about this when I was talking with Mike. I'm gonna take this thing off. I don't know how to do it though. Oh, there we go. Um, I think I talked about this when I was with Mike, but, how did it go? Boy, I totally lost my train of thought trying to figure out how to get that banner off. It was something about the the injustice, okay. My favorite subject in Scientology is injustices because, boy, did I experience injustice, and so did everybody else. The whole place was a big injustice fest. But anyway, so I was 16 years old, and I went into this confessional with this older man, and he was asking me all about my sex life, and I was really afraid of confessing because I didn't know what would happen if I did, but I did confess. And so he said, by the power invested in me, all Scientologists, and Scientologists forgive you for everything that you've truthfully told. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. So I got it off my chest. I felt great. I was forgiven. And when I walked out of the session, there were 2 security guards standing there waiting for me to escort me to the Rehabilitation Project Force. So obviously, I wasn't forgiven. So I went to the Rehabilitation Project Force. I was on it for like 8 months. David, who was my first husband, um, he is this buzzing? Is it too loud? Um, he he was 10 years older than me, and so he was 26, and he went to the rehabilitation project force too, but they reprieved him from it because they needed him for a project because he spoke 5 languages, and they were doing a language project for to translate L. Ron Hubbard books. So I'm left on the RPF at 16 years old, and he's off doing his project anyway. Oh, just one injustice after another. Okay, did I answer that question? Let's see. Okay, she also wanted to know if I went in the hole. No. So the hole started in 2003, and I left in July of 2003 to the Flag RPF. I just missed the bullet, and I swear I would be there today if I didn't get off that property. What happened was the international headquarters is in Hemet, California, and was my home, if you could call it that, for 20 years. And if you hear, Jackson, who was a friend of mine, he was security chief for a long time, talk about the security there. It's not easy to get off that property. And so I was there was a certain point in my career where I had a realization. It was actually a huge realization for me, which is that my mind was rationalizing insanities. And so what that meant was I would see something, and usually my mind would just like right away kind of justify it. Would like, okay, so David Miscavige just choked Mike Rinder. Mike Rinder obviously had non-compliance. David Miscavige has everything on his plate, you know, like, my mind just goes, "This is why it's okay, this is why it's okay," the knowledge reports, PL says Joe would have a black eye, too gruesome, this is his too gruesome, whatever. I just would justify it and make that kind of insanity okay. And it wasn't just, like, the physical abuse and stuff like that, it was, like, all kinds of things, and my eyes just suddenly were opened, and, I didn't like anything anymore. And so they were like, "You have a wrong why," because they saw that now I'm becoming belligerent and, defiant and not caring if your punishment one more time. I mean, how many times are you gonna threaten me? Like I was getting like that, where before you just like fall in line, do what they say. They have you, as a robot, really. So, yeah, I woke up, and, so now they didn't know what to do with me, so they s issued a fitness board, um, saying I was unqualified to stay at the international headquarters, and they sent me to the rehabilitation project force in Florida. Remember, David Miscavige asked me, "Do you like California?" or something, I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "Good, you're going to Florida." Whatever. Um, so it's a blessing in disguise because the whole place was completely locked down afterwards, and, um, bars on the window, security guards there. Everyone had to live, eat, sleep in that stupid, disgusting trailer that was my office, and, double wide trailer, that was a temporary thing that was there for a decade, probably still is. Um, and So, there was no getting out of there, and, I fortunately was in Florida. So, when I went to Florida to the rehabilitation project force, I tried to give it a go. I tried to, like, okay, so I confessed some stuff that I knew was gonna set off rocket launchers. And the reports went flinging up lines, "This is what Amy confessed," and I was sent to the to the rehabilitations projects forces RPF. It's called a RPF's RPF, and I wasn't supposed to be allowed to come off of it until the staff at the INT base in Hemet approved for me to come off, and you know when that was gonna be? Never. So, anyway, I was on that stupid thing, and I forced the local people to let me off of it because I said it's not in the flag orders, the, policy of the Rehabilitation Project Force to make somebody stay past a certain amount of time or whatever. Anyway, so I got off of it, and then, when I was on the RPF, that's when, or I just gotten off or whatever, but that's when Matt came to the RPF, and, I don't wanna tell you about that story because it's gonna be brilliant how he tells it because, boy, it's because of um he's a badass. That's all I have to say. He is a badass, and don't mess with him. And so, he says, "This is the way it's gonna be, and this is what we're gonna do." And then, this is what and that's the way it happened. Anyway, but so it's a story and a half. So we'll leave that until he, can join me when he's not playing poker or off on a project. But anyway, so I spent an hour on the first question. Okay, next question. Who do I miss the most? Let me show that. Who do I miss the most who is still in the Church of Scientology? It's so funny. You work with somebody for 20, like a whole group of people for 20 years, and there's certain relationships with a lot of them, but I can tell you who I miss the most is Shelley Miscavige. I wanna know where she is. I wanna know what was done with her. I want her to say herself that she's okay. I want her to have the opportunity to be able to get out of there if she wants to, and to know that there's people here that would take her in a heartbeat and help her get started in the real world again. That's another video that I should do. Because getting started in the world after joining Scientology in age 14 and then getting started in the world when you don't know how to cook, you don't know how to drive, you don't have a bank account, you don't have a high school education, you've never done a real l job besides everything that's made up in Scientology, and, you try to, like, figure things out. It was crazy. I remember the first thing that I did is I went grocery shopping, and, uh, and the first thing I bought was root beer floats because in the Sea Org, you don't get root beer floats, okay, and that was something I really loved as a kid, so, we also didn't get to see TV or movies, and, unless it was a new release by Tom Cruise, but, so we had this, like, little 10-inch VCR player that my dad had, and so we went and rented Forrest Gump. It had been out for years, but we hadn't seen it, but we heard about it, so we wanted to see it, and we drank wine because that's the other thing you didn't get to do. Okay, so yes, I miss Shelley. Okay, so let's see. I didn't star these things, so I'm gonna just kinda scroll and see what we got going here because I wanna make sure to answer your questions. Did you get married to your current hu oh, let me put it up. It says, "Did you get married to your current husband while you were in Scientology, or did you meet him on the outside?" I think I answered that earlier so we got married after we left. We weren't married in the Sea Org, but we did the RPF together. We decided that we wanted to be together and to leave together. Of course, they sent us in 2 different parts of the United States, but we found each other afterwards. They confiscated our contact information, everything, but, we did find each other, and we got married right away, and we've been married ever since, and we have celebrated our 18th anniversary, so, it was definitely the right choice. He is the other half of me. Probably don't you say the better half? No, I say the other half. Just kidding. Okay, so let's see. Um If I can answer questions, sorry, I hate the downtime while I'm scrolling, but I am new to this. Hello from Germany. I starred this because I wanted to say hi in Germany. He says it's 2 a.m. over here and I'm ready for my SPTV fix. Well, thank you. That's wonderful. And that is Lathanda, and I won't even try. Thank you. So let's see. It's funny when somebody else isn't talking with you. Um, you gonna lurk in a corner, somebody said. Yay for solo, yes. Um, okay. It's hard for me to get through down this thing. Um, but anyway, did you look, hey, I got a few banners. You wanna see some banners that I have? What do I have? Oh, this is the banner that I was gonna show you. I know he's watching. Okay, and then what else do I have? Um, so could you see that little intro thing that I did? I'm gonna play it now that I have my headphones on. I'm gonna play it. I just put it together. I don't know if I'm gonna use it or not at the beginning of my things, but I like it. Tom Cruise is saying that David Miscavige, who I personally have seen beat people left, right, and center, is saying that he's the leader of leaders and he should know because he's met them all, which is just hot air. And then David Miscavige saying Tom Cruise, the notorious of the Whoozy Medal of Valor, is the most dedicated Scientologist he knows. Salute, hug, kiss, you know. Come on, you guys, go get a room and let's get on with it. This is crazy. Let's get on with it. Go get a room. Yes. Okay, so back to comments. Somebody's saying, thank you for your transparency and your openness. Yes, I feel like, you know, it is what it is, and I am who I am. And I think that it's important to, I've never stopped exposing Scientology since I left. We started out, um, under the radar, writing writing things and stuff like that and posting them and whatever. And when Tommy Davis went on TV saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as disconnection," after they had forced my mom to disconnect from me, it was a huge it I mean, it lit a fire under me. And so I decided to fight. And so that's when I first started. I wrote my book. I started writing my book right at that time, and I also went on the Truth Rundown series um, with the Tampa Bay Times. It was called St. Pete Times at that time, but I want to do something on that in itself because that was something else. Um, but anyway, let's see. I want to make sure to answer questions. Um, All the love, you guys. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, your book is on the way, Johnny. Um, there's a lot. I had a lot of orders. It was really nice, and it made me feel good that this community is amazing, you guys. Just so I mean, like really the amount of love, the comments. I try to go in on my YouTube channel and comment back to all your comments. At least like and thumbs up and put my little heart there because I want you to know that you're heard and you're appreciated. And I'm here because I get so many wonderful comments about how even though somebody wasn't necessarily in Scientology, they um might have been in an abusive relationship and it gives them strength for that, or some other kind of organization. There's all kinds of cults. And that's one thing that I learned for sure. My antennas are up. Whenever I see something, I say, "Oh, that's a cult." Happens all the time. Um, but anyway, I'm just trying to say that, in other words, I really appreciate you guys. And yes, you can order my book at scobeepublishing@gmail.com. It's $14.95, and then add, $5 for shipping. And I'll get it out to you right away. Um, Jennifer, it says, "Hey, Amy, so happy to see you flying solo. You were all so much fun and so informative, whether together or alone. Keep bringing the SPTV goodness." Yes, I just realized I might not have like my makeup perfect or whatever, and I'm wearing these glasses. I should have put my other ones, but But, so what? I can answer questions, I can be here, and people can have we can have a time together, an SPTV time together. Ooh, morning everyone from Australia. Wow. Lily, welcome. Yeah, I'm not monetized yet, sorry. That's, um that's my fault. Because I got put did you see my video? And I said, "Am I in YouTube jail?" Because they rejected it because I had content on there that, apparently wasn't okay. So, whatever, it takes a month before I can resubmit, so I'll just have a bunch of other content. And I'm also gonna do, take some of the stuff that I had to take down or whatever, but I can do, reaction videos, I think it is, or whatever, because I don't wanna lose that content, so I kept it, and I'll just put it up in a different way and so that I'm following the rules because I still want everyone to be able to see that information. Um, and regarding monetization, buy my book, or you can donate or give me a coffee, I think is what it's called, which is at the top of my YouTube page. Let's see. Let's see. Amy needs 4,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to apply. I did get those. The problem was the content. So I had the BBC, clips or whatever I had to take down. So anyway, I'm on it. I'm all over it. I'm getting it fixed. Thank you for your concern. Um, This person says, so Heather Carr, she says, "Hi, Amy, love you. I'm a Christian as well. God is so good." Yes, I agree 100%. Thank you for being here. Um, husband, this one says, "Husband's been gone for weeks and you're with us. Go get him." Hey, he's playing poker and that's serious business. I figure I got the night to myself tonight. Um, what is this? Did I write this? Okay, so Denver Stevo says, "Denver Stevo, you are the greatest person ever in the entire 75 million year history of TG Hack, Amy and Matt." Is that what you want written on your book? That's funny. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, you watched the video that my husband had that I posted about my husband telling his story. Yeah. Yeah, so so you get a little bit of an idea of my man. Um Okay, all these waves, and I love you, and I love you too. And no questions, but much, much love and respect. Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't easy talking out at first. I knew that they were going to be asses, but I didn't realize how much crap was going to happen. Um, and it's amazing. That's another one that I listed down to do with Mike is the fair game tactics that they use against us because it's really nasty. Like, oh man, it's so much. We found 2 okay, so one so the St. Pete Times first article came out, and then we helped the SP Times, connect with other people to do confirmation, and their next article was strength in numbers, and it was a bunch of other people coming out saying they witnessed the same thing, and that was, me behind the scenes helping, network everybody and get them speaking out too and telling them, "Hey, it's okay, I survived." So they were confirming the stories as well, and, the next morning in my swimming pool were 2 dead rats, and, they had taken pictures of me in my bathing suit and, blew it up so that I looked like a beached whale, and then they, animated it with my little feet walking doo 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 next to a whale that was jumping in the background saying Amy's out with her friends. This is how classy they are. And they rented um the cottage that was just below. I was staying living in a condo on Clearwater Beach because they told me I couldn't come back to Clearwater. So we So we got a condo on Clearwater Beach. And, so they rented a cottage right there so they could see anyone who was coming in right off the parking lot, so they could see anybody coming in and coming and going, and, so they got to see CNN come in, they got to see ABC Nightline come in, they got to see friends and family and whatever. Um, so we also stuck things in the garbage can that they used to go through every single day and said things like Debbie Cook was still in Scientology at the time, but Matt had a great idea since she's a powerhouse person to say, this one note that we kind of like made it seem like it was a little bit shredded and wadded up and stuff and wrote in there, contact, uh, get the FBI to contact Debbie Cook or something like that. Or what was it exactly? It was something like that it already had happened. So I'm sure she got pulled in right away in trouble. But, we were just trying to give them a hard time because they were just constantly the chases, like the dog and pony show chases in the car, which Matt would get into, and I hated it because it felt so unsafe, but they would be chasing us around and down dead end streets and whatever. I mean, why? They would position themselves outside our house, and Matt would go out there and tell them, they're out there outside our house where the bus stop was, and so Matt would go out there and tell them, "We've seen you out here watching the kids get on and off the bus." And so we're alerting the authorities that, we have a freak show out here watching the kids. Uh, anyway, so he Matt was never intimidated by them. It bothered me. They accosted me in the airport right at the security line like idiots. And, there's just a huge, huge, huge list. We'll have to do a talk just on that alone because that would be very entertaining. Mike's got incredible stories as well, and Matt should be in on that one because the way he's going to describe it is going to be fun. Okay, so let's see about more questions. I'm probably like way behind here. Um, Jill Anderson says, "Hit that like, and I'll teach my body thetans to sing." That is funny. Um, yep. Oh my gosh, my grandpa had a photographic memory. He could look at something and then read it back to you. And one time, he was in intelligence in the army. He ran a base, and well, he was stationed in Japan, but then he ran a base in France. Um, but he had this huge library, and he told my mom, "Pick any book out of this library. Pick any book. Just go and grab one." So she grabbed something, and he goes, "Okay, what book is it?" And she said, for example, Huckleberry Finn. He goes, "Open to any page." And so she just opens it up. "What page?" 245. And he starts reading it from the top of top of the page. Mom said she, like, closed the book, put it back, walked out of the room, and never talked to him about it again. Freaked her out. But yeah, that was quite something. Let's see. Um, Somebody says, "Looking forward to Matt. He's a hoot." He is. Um, oh my gosh, Mango, come here. Let's see. Okay, this is a question, so I'm gonna put it up, but I haven't read it yet. So it says, question: With membership going down in Scientology, do TPTB, what is that? Still want members to join the Sea Org? What's TPTB? Um, is there enough work for them to do, and do they still want to pay to house and feed new members? Okay, it's hard to answer because I don't know what TPTB is. With members going down in Scientology, let's just say do they still want members to join the Sea Org? Is there enough work for them to do, and do they still want to pay and house? They always well, the part of the thing is that They always want to, expand. I mean, that's they have to be upstat in Scientology, you have to have a greater figure of whatever you're responsible for the following week than you did the week before. So if you were a letter writer and you wrote 500 letters that week, it has to be 501 or higher because you have to be upstat. So there's recruiters in the Sea Org, and you're going to want to continue to expand the Sea Org. They have to clear the entire planet. Their mission is to salvage this sector of the universe. So they're going to need more staff. With their numbers going down, they don't tell each other that their numbers are going down. They still think that they're at a dead run. So that's what's going on with that one. Let's see. Um, It's great when you write question on there. That was helpful because, it just kind of there's so many and they fly by. Mango, I can't hear him chewing. Angel Hugger, hi, I'm so happy you're with me. This is a beautiful, beautiful lady who's been in touch with me separately. Amy, you're such a genuine person. It's such a pleasure to watch and listen to you. Bless your soul. Well, uh, Isang 7, bless your soul. Thank you. Um, yes, thank you about people are saying like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Yes, please like my channel and subscribe to my channel, and that way you get alerts if I'm going to go on the fly again and be the most random person in the universe. I hope I'm not wasting your night. Oh my gosh. Wow. Roberta said, "You're a beautiful human being." Well, thank you. She says, "I'm making bracelets for the SPTV crew. I will send them to Aaron." Oh, how cool is that? I want one. I was just thinking today when I saw somebody had the SP bracelet, that I wanted one. But you know what I have? This is I made myself and Claire a cup, and it says SPTV, Amy Scobee, hers says obviously Claire Headley, and it says, "Exposing the cult of Scientology. Where's Shelley?" And then this one on the back is a tribute to my mom. And let's see, it says, "In loving memory." That's when she was in hospice and she was reading Leah's book on Kindle. And Mother's Day is coming up, and I want to do a little tribute to her. So I will do a video on that. My mom was special, and she spoke out on her hospice bed against the practice of disconnection. And for those who didn't see it, it's season 1, episode 1 of Scientology in the Aftermath. Leah Remini, Scientology in the Aftermath, season 1, episode 1. And my mom's in there, and she's fighting disconnection on her hospice bed. And she said, "Those bastards." And then she goes, "Whoops, I'm not supposed to say bastards." We were like, "But they are." She's precious. Rest in peace, Mom. And let's see. It says, okay, this one says, Amy Scovey, from your story on Leah's show, have you reconnected with your son yet? I don't know. I don't have a son. I never have. You can't have children in this York. And I came out, but I think you're thinking of Mary Kahn, and the answer is no, she hasn't yet. But she's in a different episode than I am, and she's my dear friend. I love her. But in the Sea Org, you can't have children. So luckily, I didn't ever have to get an abortion because that's what people resort to. I never got pregnant. So, but I did miss out on that because I didn't leave the Sea Org until I was 42 years old. And by that time, my thyroid was completely destroyed, and I was going to be having dogs instead of children. So, and I love my dogs like children. I only have one dog right now, but I'm trying to get a second one. I just have to convince Matt. Okay, let's see. How do I take that off? Thank you. I'm so glad that I'm going through this, and I'm so glad that you're patient with me. I hope you're patient. Because I'm learning. I'm learning how to do this by myself, and I won't feel so intimidated by it. Um, let's see. This says, "Did Boss Baby DM ever do manual labor or screw up?" Well, I don't Mango, you look like you're in prison. Let's see which way. This way. Oh, my gate closed. Oh, so he must have accidentally closed it. Look at his cute little face. No wonder he's crying. Okay, I have to let him in. Hold on. 1 second. Well, what happened? And you're chewy. We have to take a doggy break. Take care of my dog. His Chewy was on my side of the fence when he tried to get it. Oh, he's got it now. Anyway, sorry about all that. Now I'm all whatever. But no, because David Miscavige did not do anything like that. Because let's see. For the longest I don't know about the earlier times. I'd have to ask Janice that question, and maybe Mike knows because he would have been around in the earlier times. But, David Miscavige, when I was uplines, he was, over at Author Services in, LA, which is responsible for L. Ron Hubbard's, fiction books. And so, he then came to the international headquarters in, I think it was 1987, and everything went downhill real fast. Days off were canceled. We had these things where you're permanently if you were permanently posted, which is a whole requirement of what to do, you have to get fully trained, fully certified, fully everything through a whole bunch of false false purpose rundown, which clears out your evil purposes, hundreds of hours of that on tailored areas. You had to do all this stuff, and then you could get certified as permanently posted, and I was permanently posted. And when you're permanently posted, you were eligible for bonuses if your statistics were up. And it wasn't like a huge thing, but it was an incentive to get something, so that you can buy more than just toothpaste. And so the permanent postings were canceled by him too. Anyway, we had to like anyone who had personal photos had to take them down. Anyone who had a radio, forget it. You couldn't have it. Plants. Can't have plants on your desk. What the hell? Anyway, the whole place turned upside down. We were all put in conditions, of course, and never came out of them. Anyway, he deserves the RPM. He should see what it's like. Um, yeah, 4 times somebody said yes. I'm curious what people think about if I read my book, as a video, like, each chapter can be its own little video, and I can make comments about it too because, I think it would be kind of fun, and there's a lot that of additional detail that I could provide and stuff like that. That's one thing that I was thinking about. We'll see. We'll see what people say in the feedback. Um, Here's a question. It says, "Do people recognize you on the street? Do you like being known, or is it a bit annoying?" It is absolutely not annoying, and yes, people recognize me on the street. What I do for a living is I officiate funeral services. I have my own company. It's called Life Celebration. I'm a certified celebrant, a life funeral celebrant or life celebrant, however you want to call it. And so I do a lot of people's funeral services. I've done like 400. Um, and it's I make them all totally unique. I find out all about their loved one, and I all the things that made them, their attributes and qualities and the highlights of their journey through life. And one thing I learned from doing this is that everyone has a unique story. And so I like storytelling. So I bring out everything about that person in their services, unique um, photo slideshows and music and candle lightings and all that kind of stuff. And I officiate the service and make it a beautiful life celebration. To me, I feel like they're looking down and being able to feel really acknowledged for the life that they lived, and I feel like it heals the people left behind. So to me, it fills my heart, and it's I just have compassion for people at that time of life. My first service that I ever did was for my mom, and nothing would have happened if I didn't do her service. And it was a very hard time for me in terms of grief for losing her because it was fast, and it was cancer, and was not ready for her to go. And and plus, I really felt like she was suffering. It was terrible. Oh, so terrible. Anyway, so I put together a beautiful service for her with a slideshow from when she was brand new baby all the way to the end, and with all the songs that were her favorite songs. And she had written poems to me when I was in the Sea Org, and she sent those to me, and they were beautiful. And I made it on a postcard with a picture of her in Cabo with us because we got to do just shortly before she passed, we got to do a trip together, which was just a trip of a lifetime. Anyway, I miss my mom. But anyway, oh, here I am off on a tangent again. The question was, do people recognize you on the street, and do you like being known, or is it a bit annoying? Yeah, it's not annoying. It's not annoying at all. And it opens the door for me to be able to share the story about Scientology and that it's a cult, and to warn people, which I like to do. Um, Question. It says, "My dear Amy, what happened in your life that you decided to speak out about your experience? I'm so glad you were here." Yeah, that was Tommy Davis's little mug on CNN saying that there's no such thing as disconnection. I mean, how can you just say such a blatant lie? There's policy on it. Every Scientologist knows that there's such a thing as disconnection, and it's practiced all the time. Everyone does it in Scientology. It's ridiculous. So he's just lying. And I was just my mom was her husband was still in Scientology, and she had no other means of support. She didn't wanna lose him, which would mean she would lose her dogs, lose her house, lose her husband, to be able to stay connected with me. So she made the horrible decision that she needed to disconnect from me. She said, "I will never step another foot in a Church of Scientology, but I cannot divorce my husband and lose my everything because to stay in connection with you." She told me that she took me, she says, "We're gonna go on a drive today." She came over to my house and picked me up, and we drove to the mountains, and then we had these chairs, and we sat them in the middle of the stream with a bottle of wine, and she told me that she had to disconnect from me. Yeah. And then Tommy Davis says there's no such thing as disconnection. I felt like jumping through that television set, and I decided that, they're making my life a living hell. And they were also contacting us and telling us who we can talk to and couldn't talk to, and they were putting my mom um, on the e-meter, trying to find out who I was talking to and what I was involved in. And then, they were calling my stepdad, her husband, over and over and over again, trying to find out if he was in touch with me, um, or all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it was a big fat mess. I did get, them out, and that's a whole thing in itself. But anyway, another story. But what got me speaking out was that, they make their own worst enemies. That's the thing. They make their own worst enemies because they could have just said, "Okay, um, bye. Have a good life." And, you know, and sorry we couldn't, agree on things or whatever. Or if somebody spoke out and said this happened, they could have said, but taken any responsibility, but they don't. They hit back and they attack. And so that's the way they are, and it's terrible. and an embarrassment to have ever been a part of it. Okay, let's see what else. This person says, this is JLDIS. JLD is me. She says, um, first likes joke. Cooking is a workout for David Miscavige because he has to climb the counters. Next joke at 200 likes. Okay, good. I don't know where I'm up to. I have no idea. But thank you. That was good. Um, okay. This person says, K Miller, I love the guys of SPTV, but you and Claire bring such a different kind of energy and strength to the channel. I love seeing women making their way into the light, right where we belong. I agree. I couldn't agree more. All right. Okay, so this one says, this is Colonel Broke. Amy, how closely were you able to follow your Uncle Dick's test pilot and NASA astronaut career in or out of Scientology? You know, I have a really kind of sad story about that. My uncle, Dick Scobee, was a Challenger, come over here, Mago, Challenger astronaut. He went up the first time in 1984. Sorry, he's wanting some attention. Oh, don't. He went up the first time in 1984 as a pilot. And so when he came back, he sent me laser photos of being up there out in space, the astronauts walking, and they went up there to fix a satellite, and so amazing laser photos, beautiful photos. He signed them, you know, Uncle Dick, and sent me pictures of the crew. Okay, Mango, that's enough. Sent me pictures of the crew, and I think they all signed, and then he did like an arrow to him saying Uncle Dick. Okay, they got stolen out of the big blue building where I was living right then in Los Angeles, the stupid place. Anyway, that's a sad story. But how closely did I follow it? Of course, I mean, so I have a super small family. I have 2 cousins, which are Uncle Dick's 2 kids. That's it. And so yeah, when he's a test pilot. I was born on Edwards Air Force Base. My dad was in the Air Force as well. And that was where I was born. My brother was born there too. And my Uncle Dick, when I was probably 12 years old, flew in. He was a test pilot. He flew into Seattle where I was living, and my dad and I don't know, I think my brother went to see him, and we got to sit in a T-38 jet, and he flew in a C-5A cargo plane, and we got to see how gigantic that was. You could put a whole town inside. And of course, it was amazing that he became an astronaut. The family really cheered him on, and we're super, super, super proud of him. Yeah. His son is just retired as a 3-star general from the Air Force, Richard Scobee. My cousin, he's in Poland now. Okay, so yes, this person says you're thinking of Mary Conn. That's correct. Okay, here's a question I haven't read. It says, question, did David Miscavige ever talk about his past lives, or did he reach the level of knowing his whole track past? Did you hear people claiming they were someone special previously? Okay, so one of the things in Scientology that is against the policies is to talk about case. So no one talks about it, but behind the scenes we talk about it. But you're not supposed to. So David Miscavige, I never heard anything about his case other than he was OT5. And in terms of hearing about people claiming that they were someone special, you only heard about things like that when you're making, snickering behind the scenes, making fun of somebody, um, I don't know, it's funny. It's a funny thing. There's It's really just the whole subject is really kinda hard and weird, and you're in the session and you don't know. You're going like, "What's that? What's that? What's that? Oh, I don't know. Was I, John F. Kennedy?" Maybe that's why I get headaches. I don't know. It's just like the whole thing's bizarre and stupid. Okay, here's the next one. It says, question, "Did you see Aaron's update this afternoon about the religious person and Stan League blogger Scientology sent to the Masterson trial today? What are your thoughts about that?" Yes, I did, Angel Hugger. I did see the update, and it's an intimidation tactic, and it's that person, is a shill for Scientology. He wears a cross that's like this big, um, like that's supposed to mean something, and God sees everything that hey, warning, warning, warning. You should know that. But this like Stand League thing, it's just a OSA attack group, and he's part of it. So they're in there to intimidate. And they lied to that guy lied to the judge today. So or didn't answer so that he could get around the proper answer, the correct answer, the honest answer. So that's my thoughts on it. I think that, hopefully people can see right through the stuff that's going on. I just anyone who, has on their heart to pray for justice and pray for the eyes of the jury to be open to the truth, please do pray because I think that there's power in prayer, and please keep them in your prayer because I really am tired of injustices and Scientology getting away with crap. And they covered up repeated rapes, a serial rapist. They covered it up artfully, and they need to be held to account. So that's my 2 cents. And I did say the R word. Maybe I have to come back and bleep it out. I don't know. Let's see. Question. Amy, why didn't you read your book on Audible? You have a wonderful speaking voice. Um, thank you, Nurse Lori. I don't think I have a good reading voice, but anyway. Uh, well, when I did it at the time, had no idea what to do or anything like that besides hire a company. So now I would totally do it, but at that time it was really kind of interesting because so they would send me samples of all the different talent and stuff, and you have these like old ladies, and I was like, I'm not an old lady, so I'm not an old lady reading. I guess I am an old lady. I'm 60 almost in October. But and then they had like just airy fairy sounding, and I was like, oh man. Then I was thinking maybe I should do it, but I didn't know how to do it. But anyway, so then they got the girl that did it, and so she's good. But then she was sending me the chapters, and because they had to come to me to get approved, and it was just so funny because every time she said David Miscavige's name, she said Miscavige, and I just thought maybe I should leave it like it would bother him so much. Okay, mango. Okay. Um, okay, let's see what else. Here it says question. Um, were there any times during your career at Scientology when you saw or felt that your work there was outside of your inner integrity? If so, when? How long before you went back to your Scientology goals? Okay. Was I remember sitting at my desk in the Watchdog Committee thinking, I'd rather be anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. It's hard to paint a picture of what the environment was like. Like, the whole tone was hate. It was like and suspicion. Suspicion, and you're holding up the entire planet from expansion, and you gotta get your act together, and everyone's at a dead run. No one slept. No one's eating properly. Everyone's in trouble. Everyone wants you to be in trouble instead of them. Um, nothing gets approved. It's reject after reject. Miscavige is just berating people and coming up with this torture after that torture thing, like go run around the pole down at the running track or whatever, run around that thing all in your uniform until you have a group cognition or realization. Just stupid, idiotic things. Um, and so the whole place was like that. And I remember it was shortly after my eyes were opened about rationalizing insanities that I was like, I'd rather be anywhere else on the entire planet. And I wonder how I can arrange that. So I started figuring it out, but it was really not like me to do that because I was always very dedicated and very working hard and I can tolerate anything and I felt like any bump or hiccup or trip to the RPF was just a temporary um setback and in the overall big picture of a billion years it's really nothing. Oh, what a stupid idiot. Oh, but, um, so at that point, I never really did go back to falling back in line. People were suggesting all these things that I do to make up the damage and everything, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not doing it." Anyway, they got rid of me and, to Florida, and, from there, I took off with Matt. Yay. Um And our life has been amazing since, just really, really amazing. We just learned to enjoy the littlest things. I remember the first place we got, of course, we had no Social Security, like, nothing, nothing. I mean, people were like, "You don't even exist," when they try to look up our names or whatever, if you try to rent a place, and, there's nothing, and so you should hear the story. Oh, it's like Matt came up with something fast. He goes, "Have you ever heard of the Witness Protection Program?" "Oh, we thought it was either drugs or the Witness Protection Program, but you don't look like druggies, so we figured that's what it was." Anyway, the things that we pulled off is amazing. Anyway, it's in our book, but I'd love to, have Matt on to tell the story because it's amazing. Okay, so let's see. Um, mm. So this person says, Matt Elliott, what is the worst fair game situation you've experienced? Hmm. They worst. I hate it when they harass my family. That's really terrible. Park outside my parents' house and stuff like that. My dad has never been in Scientology, but probably that's not the worst. I think the covert people that they send in to do things. Like, they sent this guy, Dwayne Powell, who ended up, um, if you followed Ron Miscavige Sr. at all, he was the one that was arrested with all the firearms in his trunk with his son. He was getting like $10,000 a week from Scientology to watch Ron Miscavige Sr. Well, before that, they had sent him in on me and Matt, and just as an undercover person who kind of befriended us, and he bought a car from us, and went to auctions with Matt and stuff like that, and um, was trying to be schmoozy, and he at one point he tried to get me to go somewhere with him alone. Yeah, yeah, they're really scumbags, man. And instead, I told him about how much Matt beats the crap out of people. Ah, change his mind a little bit. But, that guy, it ended up if you saw the episode on Scientology in the Aftermath with the private investigator that was the girlfriend of Dwayne Powell, she explained how they put tracking devices on our cars, how I remember being I went to go visit my family in Washington, and I received a call, on my cell phone from inside my locked office in Florida, so obviously they were in there, you know, um, and, dangerous chase arounds and everything. There's a lot. I've listed it all out because honestly, I'm in progress on a second book because the current book ends when I disconnect my mom's disconnection when I decided to fight, and a lot happened since then. So, Yeah, there's a lot of stories, and so I've been putting it all together, and it's actually kinda shocking, and I've got a lot of documentation. And so I could do videos on it, and I can also put it in another book, Scientology. That's what you get. Keep keep playing with us. Um, question, what does Church of Scientology do for the elderly Sea Org, which are able to work for them which aren't able to work for them anymore? Like many other religions, nuns and priests have elderly care home to retire in. You know, yeah, that it's a good point because usually what happens is if they get sick or something, they get sent somewhere. Like the from the at the int base, when somebody would get cancer, they were sent shipped off to Mexico. Because I guess they had cheap treatment or something like that, but we never saw them again after that. And in terms of like getting old, they had at Flag, they had a place where people would stay, but they sent them to different continents and for the outer continents to take care of them. And, Matt told me I wasn't there, but Matt told me at Flag, which is in Florida, 1,000 staff or whatever, it was announced that if you at the point when, you can no longer work, you're gonna get a fitness board. And Matt's like, "Is anybody else hearing this?" I mean, you work like you dedicate your entire life, and then you have nothing, and now you're gonna get a fitness board and put out on the street. Um, I hope people are waking up, you know? So, I just, urge families to let their loved ones know that you are there and that they can, have a place if they need you, and that plants a seed, and it will ring in their minds over and over again, like it did with me when my dad told me that. He said, "If you ever need me, I'm here." Thought about that many times when I was there. Um, so I know that we're going a little bit long here, so I'm gonna see if I can find anything else that says questions and answer them without taking 100 years to answer your questions. I go on and on. I love all of you at SPTV, folks. I've been following you all since the Aftermath show aired. I've never been a Scientologist. I too am a Christian, and I am so happy that you found Jesus. Well, praise God. Thank you. And thank you for following and the interest in this. It's so important to spread the word and raise people's awareness because it'll help on many different things, not just Scientology. This says question. Knowing DM, do you think he is a true believer or is he just in it for the power and prestige? You know, I would say that he was a believer, right? But his actions speak totally different than that because he's always revising the the technology, changing the books, revising it again, new golden age of this, revised golden age number 2, and all these different things that he's doing that um, make you think that he's making it whatever he wants it to be and not how it originally was, even though he says, "Oh, we're going back to the original," and stuff like that. That and also just he's made it like, where he's got like a $70 million building that he walks around in, with very few staff, and meantime, other people are locked in a cage, it's just ridiculous. So one of the things a glossary so I have a glossary in my book and I have a glossary edition, which, is the profile of a sociopath, and I included it in my book because it's so good, and to me, it really, like, I went, "Wow, this describes David Miscavige," who I worked ar with and around for 18 straight years. Um, it describes him incredibly. So I included that in part of my book because it makes things make kind of sense, of how he could be the way he is. Do you ever have memories? This is Jennifer Castillo. Thank you. Do you ever have memories that are hard to deal with when they come up, like too dark to want to process? Probably the thing that hurts me the most is Well, I guess there's a couple things, but, I still have family in Scientology. My husband's brother, who after 18 years of us being married, I've never met because he's still a Scientologist, and his wife, and we've tried all kinds of things. Um, and he wouldn't his name is Scott, and he wouldn't even speak to my mother-in-law and father-in-law, because they were in contact with us, and so both of them passed away without ever seeing their son, Scott, because he considered them suppressive because they were connected to us because we were suppressive. And so that was devastating for like, why are they rejected? Because they loved both of their sons. I mean, that to me is just stirs me up. And I mean, we've done all kinds of things to try to get through, but anyway, um, I gotta, we gotta persist. And let's see, the other thing is losing my mom and the time that we had because I mean, I spent my whole life in the Sea Org, so I missed my brother my whole life. I mean, we were just never in each other's lives, and he was my big brother. He was like so special to me. And then I left and because they tried to recruit him and they did hard sales tactics that made him never come back, luckily. And then he's had an amazing life. He works for NASA. He's a senior computer scientist for NASA, has been for I think 13 years or something like that now. And he's a genius. Um, anyway, so I still have dreams. It's so weird. Um, in terms of bad memories, I'm back in the watchdog committee doing a stat evolution, which is where we analyze the statistics of every organization around the world through the entire night. And then you have to get out all the orders by first thing in the morning. So it's a weekly thing that we did. And um, somehow I'm always back in there doing it again. Ah, I wish that would stop. Um, let's see. Um, Amy question. Here we go. So, Renee B, how does someone employ your services and what do you do at the funeral services? Oh, well, unless I fly I mean, somebody had me fly all the way to Washington to do their mom service because I had done the dad service 2 years ago, and then I said, I don't live in Washington anymore, I'm all the way in Florida," and they goes, "That's okay. We'll fly you out here," so they did. But so you can go on my website and write to me. It's lifecelebration.com. It's life-celebration.com. Um, and I usually just do service all the funeral homes in the area that I'm at so that it's easy, but I can still do the family meetings over the phone and I can write the service and plan it all and go and do it wherever. Um, just have to arrange the logistics, but anyone who wants those services, feel free to write, no problem. And in terms of how does, let's see, what do I do? Um, I meet with the family, learn all about their loved one, write their entire life story, plan out the whole service, lay out the order of service and everything that all the aspects of it, and then go and deliver it um, beautifully. There you go. Okay. And so next, this Tory, it says, "Yay, someone from SPTV. I was getting withdrawal after the delay on the Monday night thing. 1:15 a.m. here in the UK, and now I'm staying up to listen to Amy." Oh, thank you, Tori. I'm sorry that it's so late, but at least you got your SPTV fix. Where is so Lady Pamela, after all your crap with the born again Christian stuff, how do I actually keep my face struggling huge? And then in comes you. um, Send me an email at scobeepublishing@gmail.com and we can talk about that. Um, I say it's a relationship and not a religion because my antennas are up for any kind of I don't know. That's me. I don't want to discourage anybody, but my antennas are up on when people say things have to be a certain, this way, that way, or something like that. No, but I have a relationship with Christ, which is totally unexpected and totally amazing. And I have a video on that, which is dedicated to my brother, and it's on my YouTube channel if anyone's interested in seeing it. Um, let's see. This is a 200 like joke. Okay. So it says, you've really got to hand it to Dave Miscavige because he usually can't reach it. Reach it anyway. Next joke is at 300 likes. I don't know where we stand, but thank you. um, yeah, somebody says, wow, I refuse to call this organization a church. I know. I mean, when you read my book and I say the Church of Scientology is because I wrote it before I took that out of my vocabulary because it isn't, you know. They have can you I don't understand. Why is the IRS the ones who determine if something is a church or not? It's disgusting. I don't get it. So they can be intimidated by 200 lawsuits. And Marty Rathman told me, when I said, "How did that all go down?" He said, with all or two, I don't know how many hundreds of lawsuits that they had on IRS agents all through the holidays, everything like that. And he told or him or Miscavige or whatever said, turn it off like a faucet. So they got their tax exempt status, and all those court cases and whatever went bye bye. Blackmail, bribery, sick. And now they're a religion. And now they hide under the banner of religion to abuse people. Okay, that pisses me off. Let's see. I don't know how all the former Scientologists survive. Nurse Lori, yeah, absolutely horrible. I know. Yeah, I mean, you almost kind of have to say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I don't know if that's really true or not, but I definitely am resilient. I was beat down physically, though. I got everything going on that, but mentally, they didn't kill me. They did not kill me, and I'm happier than I ever have been. This person says, Amy, I love listening to your stories and times you stream with Mike. Keep kicking butt. Much love from Michigan. Hi, Steph from Michigan. This person says, your testimony is, this is Donna. I know they always say everybody's names. I was skipping it. This person says, I'm sorry if you want your name right. Your testimony is very interesting. I am hoping I can get my faith back. I was in an abusive marriage that soured me since he used the Bible to beat me. Ugh. I'm sorry that happened. Again, relationship, not religion. This person says, question: if a former Scientologist is trying to get a marriage annulled in a ecclesial church, I don't know what it is, but I guess it's a church court or something like that. Will the former spouse who is still in Scientology usually cooperate? Never seen that happen before. Divorces happen all the time in Scientology. You'd think that it wouldn't because they say that they're like amazing in terms of relationships and they have the only technology to save mankind. In the meantime, you know, there's divorces galore. And I mean, here's a good example. I was married to somebody for 17 years, never saw him, but I was married for 17 years and I was on the Florida Rehabilitation Project Force and he was still at the Hemet compound. And I get these divorce papers and they were signed from Arizona because apparently he was out and out of the Sea Org, declared a suppressed person and remarried to somebody that I used to work with. And I get these papers. This is how much they care about that kind of stuff. Like, not at all. You wouldn't think that this kind of stuff happens, but it does. So I don't know. Going to court and stuff like that. I never heard that stuff. Usually the paperwork is handled by the Office of Special Affairs for the Sea Org, but I don't know about regular Scientologists. I'm not sure. Question, when was the first time you saw this is Silver Spoon, I can pronounce that. When was the first time you saw the TC black turtleneck video? What did you okay, I was still in when that stupid thing got, shot, and, we were made to watch it 3 times through by David Miscavige because he said that Tom Cruise is more KSW, which means keeping Scientology working, and it's kind of an adjective. He's very KSW. In other words, you are on source and on policy and, in KSW. So he said David Miscavige said that Tom Cruise was more KSW than all of you scumbags, and, so we had to watch it 3 times through. That's what the clip that I showed you, I was talking about because it's disgusting. There's a longer clip on my site. It's from, Wise Beard Man, Mark Bunker. He came to my house in Seattle, sorry, my hair's like, to interview me and my mom and, I don't and Matt too, he interviewed, and so those are just, like, little clips from that, but yeah, we thought that was just so over the top and disgusting. Um, even as a Sea Org member, because Tom Cruise said, "David Miscavige is the leader of leaders, and he should know because he's met them all." I mean, can you get any more arrogant than that? As I said, it's just hot air. And then Dave Miscavige said that Tom Cruise is the most dedicated Scientologist he knows. Yeah, he didn't do 1 day of staff. He's never been to the rehabilitation project course. He never laid down his life for the Sea organization. He just jumped on the Oprah's couch and told Matt Lauer he was glib, so now he's the most dedicated. Just disgusting, these 2. Okay. Oh, I love this. So this is Duchess of Chug. Haha, that's a funny title. It says, "Yep, that's what happened when I woke up from living with my alcoholic ex. I realized I was justifying my own insanity for staying with him, and I finally left him. Good for you. Congratulations. Yay. I love successes like that. You were strong." Um, okay, so let's see. Is everybody tired? I don't know. Question, here we go. This is from Terry. They say, "What ate your thoughts on the minister that showed up at a trial today? Do you know him?" Oh, what are your thoughts, probably. No, I don't know him. I never heard of him. I'm not sure I know what he looks like. But I don't know who he is. My thoughts on that is just it's another tactic by Scientology. How low can you go? Actually, they're pretty desperate about this because if this doesn't go very well, it's going to be very bad for Scientology having covered up rape constantly over the years, like bad. So this could be very precedent setting. And so they're going to pull out all the stops, in my opinion. That's what's going to go on. But anyway, keep praying. So Renee B says, "Amy, I have many questions about your celebration about life. Please discuss." Okay, I'll do a separate um, video maybe on that. And because there's a lot I can talk about. Obviously, it's my career and it's a compassion that I have and stuff like that. And so, but I won't try to do it now. Matt M. Hi, Amy. Question, is there a story behind your husband spelling his name Matt with 1 T? I love it, of course. Hi, Matt with 1 T, as in welcome, Matt. That's what my brother said. My brother once wrote M-A-T-T, and I said, I said, no, it's Matt with 1 T. And he goes, oh, as in welcome? So I say it all the time. Okay, here's the story on my husband's name. His real name is Mark, M-A-R-K. And so his family calls him Mark. My family calls him Matt. and I don't know what to call him. I say I stutter when I because I'm trying to remember who am I talking to and how do they know him. And some people, because his legal name is Mark, some people only know him as that. And if they're like familiar, then they know him as Matt. But how this happened was when he first went up lines, when because L. Ron Hubbard was supposed to go there, everyone was supposed to have an AKA and not use their real names. So Mark Rathbun, who was there with Matt, and Mark Pesh decided what their names were. So Mark Rathbun picked Marty Rathbun, and Mark Pesh picked Matt Pesh, and he decided to spell it with a one T, with one T. So not only was it unusual, but anyway, his last name that he kept too was Peach instead of Pesh. It's stupid, but it was just wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be only AKAs because of the secrecy at the time. Anyway, so his name was Matt, and everybody knew him as Matt, and I knew him as Matt for like, you know, I don't know how many years, 25 years or something. So or 20, at least 20 years, I knew him as Matt. So, um, so when we left, we went to my family up in Washington, and everybody knew him as Matt. Then we came to Florida to his family, and everybody knows him as Mark, and his nieces and nephews called him Matty Mark. Oh, here I am with my long answers to your questions. But there you go. That's the real answer. His name is Matt, unless it's official. Here's a question. It says, this is from the Freeney. Hi, Amy. How in the heck did you find the strength to go balls to the wall against Scientology? You did so many whistleblowing interviews. You are so courageous and strong. Life goals. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wasn't easy. I remember doing my first live, and what was it for Canada? I think it was for Canada, and it was shortly after Paul Haggis had left, and they wanted, because he's from Canada, they wanted to interview me on it. And so I go to this studio, and it's all black, and it's like only the night shift person is still there, and I'm all set up, and I'm with these earphones in, and I'm supposed to go live like any second, and the earphones go off so loud in my ear, it just screeches really loud, and then I go on, and they didn't even, like, introduce me. I had to, like, kind of hear in my ear that they were bringing me on or whatever, but they didn't really even say it, and I just, like, without a beat, without missing a beat, I just started talking about the situation. Oh my god. I had a CD of that, but I don't think I kept it, because they gave that to me at the time, but it would be funny to see that and show everybody. But, the strength was because of my family and so many other people's families, and I felt like I was able to speak, with authority because I'd been, at the int base for 20 years, so I know what I saw. I witnessed, uh, repeated assault and battery, and, I went to the FBI, and I just kept speaking out and speaking out, and I was gonna sue, but I decided that with my $150 that I left to start the world with, wasn't gonna go up against their billions of dollars, so and their fancy lawyers, so I decided to use PR and let the people know the truth, what was going on. They didn't like it. They attacked me. Um, Tom Cruise's lawyer even sent me a whole letter that if I published my book, that I would get sued. And I said, okay. So I published his letter, and that made news around the world. And I sold so many books because of it. So that was a dumb move for him. Uh, Burt Fields, he's no longer living. Okay, so let's see. Uh, I'll answer a couple more questions here. I just don't wanna miss anything important, so what is this one? If it says question, I'll click on it. So this says, "Have you heard of Skip LaRue, the priest who turned up at court today? Aaron said he had been associated with Scientology for 23 years." I never heard of him, and, I answered that earlier today. Um, let's see, where is Shelley? That's what I wanna know. Um, some of you have funny things which I won't read about. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just wrap this up here. Oh, you're such a nice person. This Bonnie says, "Hi, Amy. Were you ever given any condolences or sympathy from everyone with the loss of your uncle in such a national tragedy?" Um, yes, I was. There are some people with a good heart there. I mean, they've dedicated their lives to helping people, even though they are deceived like crazy. So there are some good people there, and yeah, a lot of my good friends though have left. So. Um, Which is a good thing, but there are some that are still trapped there, and so that's why another reason why I keep speaking out because something has got to be done about it. Let's see. I just wanna I don't know if I'm really far behind still or not. Um, I couldn't sleep, but the upside is I'm catching Amy live. Thank you, BB, for being here tonight. Um, I love all of you guys. I thank you for being here. I'm just gonna see a question, does Jane Post wants to know if Scientology has PIs at your house like they do for AA-Ron. Um, so they not that I know of. That I know of. Who knows what they do behind the scenes, they sent in people to befriend us, who wanted to fix my computer, so they took my old computer and oh god, I was so dumb back then. But anyway, that's a story for another time. I've got all kinds of stories to tell you guys. Um, and okay, question. It says, aside from other family, this is Stacy Y. Hi, Stacy Y. I know Stacy Y got me this. Stacey White got me the bobblehead, and then I got the Duke of Chug outfit with it. So thank you, Stacey White. It even has your little I put a little note on the bottom. Um, aside from other family, who would you like most to see get out of Scientology? Like old friends who are still in, or a celebrity who could speak out? I would like two people because of the impact that it would make, which is Shelley Miscavige and Tom Cruise. And I would love to help them expose what's going on. I don't know, Tom Cruise, I don't even think I should do a whole thing on him. My friend John Brousseau, has all these pictures of I worked under Shelley Miscavige to man up Tom Cruise's household with Scientologists, and, anyway, that's another story. I got so many stories, and, but anyway, I don't know. I don't know if he would ever speak out because it would mean that he was wrong, and that might not be possible for him. But, another person that I would like to see, get out who attempted to get out before but was brought back, which is, Mark Yeager. Just because I worked with him, he was my boss for, like, 18 years, I know him really well, and, I would love to see him out of there, and, there's a lot of people I could call. You know that "Hey Lottie Law," "We Stand Tall" video? I know all of those guys, some of them more than others, but, I looked at that the other day and I thought, "Wow, man, I would love to just see all of those guys freed and able to go back to their families who miss them." Okay, so I hate to miss any questions, you guys, but I just want to say that I loved being with you today. I'm so glad that I came over, regardless of, I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna. It's 20 minutes until 8. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And wow, look at all these people that came to the chat. Thank you on a spur of the moment. Thank you, and it'll obviously be up on my site so you can play back and see if there's any question that you had that I didn't get to. Can you please write it in the comments on the channel? Because I will go back through and look and answer to the best of my ability. Anyway, let's see if I have something. One second. Okay, here's this. Gotta do it. And then let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to play. Well, I'll do my little outro here. Um, bye, everybody. I hope you had a really good time to be here. I hope I answered some of your questions, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.